okay. Well, here I am at the beginning of the end of a tragedy, and here I am at the cusp of it was never meant to be. And all the twisted, broken arrows pierce the closely woven lies where the ghosts haunt you forever and the story never dies. Well, here's just a broken melody. You told me don't look back.
What's behind you isn't who you're meant to be.
And don't look down.
Just look forward and keep your eyes on me.
What take back could be worse someday, but everybody has to change.
Keep your head up and don't panic when the next song finally comes.
So don't look back, just run. Darkened caverns, twisting tunnels, broken buttons, shattered lives. Trust that family had betrayed, and the story of a land where no one stayed. Well, here I am at the end of an unfinished symphony, and here I am finally taking back the choice that you stole from me. The out-of-tune guitar strings and the anthems of the damned and the twisted empty promises and lost beloved lands. Well, here's just a shattered family. I told you don't look back.
What's behind you isn't who you're meant to be.
And don't look down.
Just look forward and keep your eyes on me.
Don't wait for an apology, there isn't one to come. Stay down and be grateful when the next one finally comes. So don't wait for me. And you can't break a shattered heart, and I can't make a battered whole. I can't remember who we were, and you can't save a weary soul. And the endings never quite feel right. The shadows creep too far tonight, and in the end the lessons never wrote. And we remember all the promises we broke. Okay. I think I have it fixed. Hello. I told you don't look back. And don't look down. Don't wait for an apology, there isn't one to come. Stay down and be grateful when the next song finally comes. So don't wait for me.
Is music better, Dragon?
Just run. Don't wait for me. Don't watch it back to me.
Turned up. It'd be interesting if I could do that. I don't know if I can.
And remember all
I'll look it up later.
promises you.
So fun. Okay, anyways. Hello out there. I'm going to turn off my music anyway. So, hang on. Hi, everyone. It has been a while. we don't talk about that. No, as you know, this stream is titled Where Have I Been? Oh my gosh. And there will be music, absolutely, and we're going to get there in a second. Hi guys. We'll get there in a second, but let me get comfortable. I'm officially not comfortable for some strange reason. Anyways, so where have I been? Oh my god, you're alive. Yeah, tell me about it. So the past few months have been absolutely insane on my end. So I've kind of talked about this in the past. I am an education major, right? How am I? I'm getting ready to graduate college, so we're gonna get there in a second, though. We're gonna get there in a second. There's like a whole host of things that I gotta talk about. But first and foremost, where have I been? I have been still still at my university. I mean, honestly, you guys kind of know where I go to college, so at this point, like, you know where I am. I'm still trying not to. Still trying not to say things like totally out of the blue. But yeah, so I'm still at college. I've been doing so. I'm an education major, right? Or well, education minor. I'm a vocal major. I'm a vocal music major with an education minor, and the capstone to that / the ending to that is something called student teaching. So what student teaching is you go and you're kind of like an intern in the classroom, I guess. So you're paired with a cooperating teacher. Your cooperating teacher and you, like, you sit down, you get all your lessons done, you teach. So I have been doing student teaching for the past semester or so. So it's about I started in January and I ended today, or not today. I ended last Friday. Sorry, it's still pretty recent. Finished last Friday, so about 4 months. Now, what they don't tell you is that student teaching is exhausting. I'd get home every night and like immediately fall asleep. And like so much stress and so much like just overall craziness. So that's why you haven't seen a lot of me recently. Hi KOE. KOE knows the teaching pain. I just haven't had a lot of chances to do music recently because I've been student teaching, and then I'm still enrolled in a few classes here at the university. So I'm doing student teaching and I'm doing choir stuff on top of it. I'm going to Hawaii. Oh, I need to show y'all pictures of that at some point. Like, I'll post them to my Instagram. I've got like a ton of really great pictures that I haven't done anything with, and I need to. I just haven't had the time. So between that and student teaching and everything else, I just haven't had time for music recently, which is kind of stunk. When I get really stressed, I don't really want to do any other things. It doesn't really end when you're the main teacher. I know, and that's the scary part, is that it doesn't end. But I think I'll probably learn a little bit better how to cope with it, and like I've gotten a little bit better in the past couple of days and other things, and I found and something that was really hard for me was that I was finding it difficult for me specifically to be excited about music again. My music anyway, because I was busy teaching all of these other people music, and I love it. I still love it, and it's still something that I want to do, and it's everything I ever dreamed. But at the same time, like, you spend all day learning music, and then you get home and you sit down at a DAW and you're making more music. And there's just moments where you sit there and you go, wow, I really don't want to do this right now. That's kind of the way that it's felt for me, which has been weird. I've never had that experience before. Towards the end of my student teaching, I got better with it, and I started sitting down and really working again. I guess it's like a mental health thing, you know? And I've gotten warnings from a couple of different people. It was like, hey, when you start doing this, like, just know, like, your relationship with music changes, and it really has. But then, bye, Web Gremlin. I mean, there's gonna be a recording of the stream, so if you have to go, I don't mind. I'm just streaming because I can. It's the first time I've really wanted to in a while. But yeah, so where have I been? That's where I have been. And like, I have so many great stories. Like the time. So, my first placement was at a high school, in a high school about an hour away, and for a district choir. And I was sitting down at lunch, and I'm sitting next to this kid, and this kid brought homemade ramen, which was like so cool. And I was sitting there going, oh, you're gonna have to give me the recipe, this is awesome. And at the very end, like, he finishes his bowl of ramen. We still have about like 10 minutes before we have to go back in, and they have to start singing again, and I have to go do teacherly stuff. And my kid looks at me and he goes, Mix Furno? And I went, yes. And he went, do you think this place has a policy against me dumping my ramen broth down the toilet? And I went, so, no. but also you do it, I'm pretty sure there's gonna be. So like I've got really funny stories, and there's ones that I'm probably gonna pull out of my back pocket for years to come. But that's just one instance of like the crazy that you get up to. Or the time that I had a student come up to me once, and this kid's a second grader, so like you already know that the story is going to be kind of crazy because it's a second grader who's talking to me. And he goes, "McFerno," and I went, "Yes," because like this kid doesn't usually talk to me. And he goes, "McFerno, I put my Spider-Man costume from 2 years ago on today." Or like yesterday morning, or last night. That was what it was. It was last night. Last night. And I went, "Good for you? Okay." He goes, yeah, it was kind of weird. It was a little tight for me, and then the zipper got stuck in my wee-wee." First and foremost, just wee-wee. Secondly, okay, like that sounds really painful. I'm not a guy, but I'd assume that's pretty painful. And he looks at me and he goes, "Yeah, it got stuck in my wee-wee and it hurt really, really badly." And I was like, "Well, maybe your Spider-Man costume is too small for you." Hang on, Floor. I'll explain in a second. No. Okay, so I was working at a high school, and then like I switched to an elementary school halfway through my student teaching. So I went from high school then to elementary school. That's where the second grader came from. Like this is my secondary placement. So this second grader looks at me and goes, "McFerno, like yeah, no." And I just looked at him, and I was like, "Oh, so it's a little tight on you. Maybe you've grown a bit in 2 years." And he goes, "No, I just think my wee-wee's that big." Like, dead serious, solemn look on his face, shakes his head. "No, I think my wee-wee's just too big," and just walks off. And I look at my cooperating teacher, and I go, and she goes, and she just kind of goes, like she shrugs. She's just like, "There's nothing you can say to that. Like, welcome to teaching. There is nothing you can say to some of these kids." Oh my gosh. And then the one kid who walked in and very proudly said to his classmates, "My daddy got arrested yesterday." Like, there are just moments where you just sit there and go, okay, like, great. But I love him anyway. Second graders are the craziest. I agree. Second graders are really fun but can be extremely strange. I agree with that statement. Oh my gosh, but it was so cute. So the entire second grade class had a musical at one point, and they did a musical called Pajama Party. So all of the songs are based around bedtime and like bedtime activities, brushing your teeth and other things. And so some of them are songs. Oh, what did the father get arrested for? I think he got arrested for it was a DUI. If you don't know what that means, don't worry about it. If you know what that means, you know what a DUI is. So it was that. It was something really stupid. It was a really good guy too. I was just like, "Why? You're a dummy." Like I had been talking to him about his kid because his kid was a trumpet player, and like we were talking about something. It's like you have those moments too where you're just like, okay. But yeah. So, yeah, no, second grade's just that age. Is this a don't Google it moment? No, you can Google what it is. I just don't want to say it on stream. Does that make sense? Like I don't want to say it because I don't want to get dinged for like content, but also like you can Google it. It's nothing like heinous. Like it's something that's actually, unfortunately, it's pretty common in the United States. I'd prefer it not be in chat. Let's keep chat free of that kind of stuff. But like, it's unfortunate that it's a pretty common thing in the U.S. It's not a good thing. And I take it pretty seriously. Anyway, so, but yeah, so that's kind of like a gist of. Okay. Sorry, my watch. I'm wearing an Apple Watch, so my watch beeped at me and was like, "Ooh," and I was like, "Oh, hey, Mousy." I know, I'm live, Robin. Crazy concept, right? But yeah, no. So that's kind of the gist of like where I've been, what I've been up to, what I've been doing. My plan for the next week is to do a lot more streaming, because I have time again, and also I have a friend. He and I have started doing jam sessions together recently, and like we really love it. It's really fun. I'm working on my ukulele and guitar skills. I'm not shabby at them. Like I'm not great, but I'm not like, oh my gosh, like absolutely terrible. Like I can play chords, and play along to songs and stuff like that. And so, did my tiny tots do good at their singing? Yes, my tiny tots did good at their singing. But yeah, so I've been working on my ukulele. I've been working on my guitar skills, and so he and I have, and then he's a master pianist. I'm collaborating with him on a couple of things coming up. Yes, thank you, Mousy. Bye. It is pretty late in the UK for those of you who do not know. But he and I are planning on streaming a lot more. And he's gonna do some really fun piano playing for me because he is an incredible pianist. And by like incredible pianist, I mean like some of the most incredible pianists that I know who aren't him sit there and say, yeah, no, he's fantastic, and we want him to help accompany us. And like, yeah, he wants to do accompaniment as a professional thing and like play piano and do all sorts of really cool stuff, and I am insanely jealous of how talented he is. So he's going to be joining us probably tonight. I'm going to stream again tonight after we have this thing called Wee Woo Watch Party, because we both watch 911, and we both watch 911 together. If you don't know what 911 is, it's a TV show. It's about first responders, and it's a really fun show. So he and I do Wee Woo Watch Parties. And so when he comes over, we're going to do some jamming. And I think that it'll go really well. So we'll see. It's at least something that he and I want to try. I have another microphone, so I might set up my other mic and then put it over there and put it on the piano. See how that goes. I know, double stream. Crazy concept when Furno has time. Unfortunately, that time is only going to last a week, though. So for those of you who don't know, Monday of next week, like this is just like a in the future kind of thing to like keep in mind. Monday of next week, I fly out of the country. I'm going to Vienna and Prague. So to all of my Czech Republic and Austrian friends, or my Czechian and Austrian friends, I guess. I'm going to be visiting y'all's country. I'm going to Vienna. I'm going to Prague. I'm going to be studying Mozart and Haydn. It's going to be awesome. I had my first class today for that, by the way. It was all about classical music, classical composition, and like what to identify in the classical period, which for the most part, I already know. I am a music major, so I should know that stuff. But for those people in my class, the class may be geared towards music, but it's supposed to be designed for people who aren't music majors to be able to go to and enjoy it. But we still have at least like a quarter to a third of the class is full of music majors, and there's a ton of choir people going, which is going to be awesome. So I have a lot of friends who are going with me. The guy who's going to be playing with me tonight, we're going to just call him Kay for now. Kay is going with me, and he and our goal is to find a piano. I'm taking my ukulele with me, and our goal is to find a piano in Austria and do a jam session at least once and like stream it from Europe. So we'll see how that goes. And just stream from my phone or something and like have fun with you guys. Am I going to historic sites? Yes, I'm going to historic sites. So some sites that I'm going to visit, we're going to visit Beethoven's house. We're going to visit a couple of places commonly associated with Mozart. I'm going to a bunch of operas and symphonies in some of the major concert halls in Vienna and Prague, which is going to be awesome. I'm organizing a day trip to Budapest, and we're going to see all sorts of crazy stuff in Budapest. So I'm really excited. We're also going to do a tour of the Jewish areas of Prague and really get into, we're going to go visit the site of one of the camps there. I think it's called Terezin, something along those lines. I don't remember off the top of my head. And that was a camp that was unlike the ones that we're used to hearing about, like Auschwitz-Birkenhausen and others. It's a camp that was used to like show that there's, oh, see, we're treating them well, like to the Red Cross, so that the Red Cross wouldn't say that they were violating the Geneva Conventions. So it was what was called a performance camp. So people were actually treated pretty well there. There are some really great composers who were composing all the way up until they were transferred to other camps. And there's a lot of history there. There's a lot of really cool things. So we're going to go see that. And yeah, so I'm going to be visiting all sorts of really cool places. And it's all just about learning about music and learning about people. And I'm excited, man. I love to travel. Traveling is like my favorite thing to do. So I'm excited. But anyways, so I guess enough about me. You're all here for my music anyway, right? Wait, that sounded really negative. No, okay. So you're all obviously here for my music, and this is classified as a music stream, right? So I should get to that. What am I doing? Brain. Oh no, brain just farted. Welcome to the crazy. I just live here. It's hot in here. Anyways, so hilariously, it's like pretty cold for me anyway outside right now. It's actually like steaming hot in my room, which is where I am. I'm in my bedroom, obviously. But so I've gotten some requests to finish this, and I need to. But today, my plan is to work right now on Walls Come Down. So we're just gonna get to that. Hang on, and boop. Hey, there we go. So Walls Come Down, everybody's favorite thing that I'm working on at the moment. Well, not everybody's. There's other things that people want to hear too. Stares in at woe to the people of order that's been sitting in my DAW for how long now? But yeah, so we're going to start working on Walls. Note, I can't track certain things about the stream quality and other stuff like that. So like, if oh, okay, great. So what is Walls Come Down? Walls Come Down is a song that I wrote, gosh, how long ago? How long ago did I write this? I think I wrote it back in January? A little bit early, probably a little bit earlier than that. I was watching an episode of a television show I like, and one of the characters, who is a military veteran, had a PTSD episode. Started like bashing at his walls with a baseball bat. Had his door locked so his kid couldn't get in, and it was a really tough episode. It was a really tough episode for me to watch. My dad suffers from PTSD. My mom not so much, but my dad has pretty bad PTSD, and so for me it was one of those moments where I was like, wow. And at the same time, I was also going through, not that I'm equating like my experiences to PTSD, because I would never, but I was going through a really tough time at the time. So I sat down and I started writing about somebody who has really high walls, and suddenly those walls come down. Foundations start to crumble, plaster falls from the walls. It was taking some of the imagery that I had seen in that television scene and some of the anxiety that I had in myself, and applying it to music. So like some of the lyrics are like, you built walls of stone and plaster, too high for people to scale them, and you thought they'd never fail, right? So watch as your foundations crumble, watch as they shift on sand, listen for the sound of trouble, and know this is by your hand. I love the imagery of it. There's a couple of different things in it that I thought about when I was writing it. I was thinking about like the Battle of Jericho, which if you don't know, I'm not particularly religious anymore, but I grew up Catholic, and the Battle of Jericho is the story about a city. The Israelites were trying to get past it, and they marched around the city for 40 days and 40 nights, blaring their trumpets in praise to the Lord, and God caused their giant walls. They were known for having really thick, really big walls, and God caused their walls to crumble to the ground. which is sort of how some of the lyrics came about too, was thinking about that song. Some other famous stories in there, and I just kind of put it all together, and that's Walls Come Down. When I first showed it on stream, how long ago was that? A while ago. I think it was the last time I streamed that I showed it off, or the time before. It was actually really popular, and I've gotten a lot of requests and a lot of asks on Tumblr and on Discord, like, am I going to finish it? Yes, I'm going to finish it, which is part of the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm doing a couple of re-records today. My voice wasn't great when I started recording this, and for the most part, these are all scratch stuff. So I'll play for you the song, and then I'll get started on my re-records. Warning, about midway through, surprisingly, no, it's not. So I do have DSMP related songs still in the pipeline. I still have Prometheus. I'm doing a cover of Night of Endale's Prometheus. I'm doing a cover of Woe to the People of Order. I have Dream a New Dream, which should be getting finished soon. I hope it's gonna get finished soon. I don't know. I've gotta sit down and finish the audio, and then my editor is pretty busy with college, so we'll see what happens there. I have another song that's coming that we haven't started. I'm finishing the music for it now, but the artist has already finished their portion of it, and it's called Icarus. It's an Amesy song about when Tubbo shoved Amesy, and Amesy fell. So it's all about like falling and Icarus falling through the sky. It's a good song. It's a really good song, and the art, holy cow, the art's fantastic. Like, guys, when I say that Lamb or Pluvius, I call them Lamb. They go by Pluvius online. When I say that they popped off. Like, it's GIFs all with like fantastic art. It looks like pencil-y drawn. It's gorgeous. It moves, and like, it's minimalistic, but it's perfect for the vibe of the song. And I cry every time I see them. They're so good. I'll send them your way soon, Dragon. So I've got that song. So I've got a few in the pipeline that I've got to finish. I haven't really had as much inspiration for DSMP lately. Admittedly, the passing of Technoblade, as well as a few other things, just kind of made it difficult to go back to it. I am looking into QSMP though. If there's something that I really like in QSMP, I may continue with some QSMP stuff. I've got a Double Life song that I've got to finish. I'm working on my own music and telling my own stories, like with Walls Come Down, which is something that I haven't really done yet. So telling my own stories, finishing my own stories, those things too are things that I'm going to be focusing on. I finally have audio. Hi, darling. But yeah, so Walls Come Down. I'm obsessed with DSMP, and it's so sad that the community is dying. Yeah, no. So my relationship with the DSMP is a weird one. I don't think it's ever going to die. People keep saying, "Oh, it's going to die. It's going to be dead." No, fandom doesn't die. That's the truth in fandom. Now I'm getting on another tangent. Hang on. Intermission. The thing about fandom is this, and this is something that I've said for a long time. Fandom doesn't die. There are waves of fandom, absolutely. There's the initial part where people are trying to go by word of mouth and spread. There's the crest, there's the plateau, then there's the fall. Things happen with fandom, and that's natural, that's normal. Sorry. That's natural, that's normal. But fandom doesn't die. I'll find myself coming back to things years after I've finished watching them. Actually, so like, I'm a huge Top Chef fan. But the thing is about Top Chef is that like, I go through waves of, okay, do I want to watch Top Chef right now? Do I not want to watch Top Chef right now? I don't know. And then this new season came out and I started watching it and I was like, oh, that moment reminds me of that moment that somebody created a Smurf village out of cereal. And then I went back to season 3 and I started watching season 3 until I found the guy who made a Smurf village out of cereal. And I was like, oh, hey, there it is. And it's just as funny as I remember. Highly recommend that season. It's a great season. There's some really great seasons of that show. Or then somebody was making pasta every challenge and I started making fun of, and I started thinking of like Joe Flam, or not Joe Flam. It was Joe Sasto. And I started making fun of Joe Sasto in my brain going, hey, Mustache Joe and his pasta. Like those things, they happen and things grow, things develop, and then things also, they start to fade again. But that doesn't mean that the people who initially loved something don't go back sometimes and go and relook at it. And then one day you're gonna see somebody go, hey, does anybody remember that thing with the Minecraft city called Lamamberg? And then somebody else will start watching it again, and then art will start coming back. And the thing about artists and what we do that's also really interesting is that for some people this is about revenue, or this is about, you know, becoming a content creator, which is fine. There are people who have those goals. Like for me, it's not a super big goal for me to get rich off of this. I do it because I like it. And I do it because I really like you guys. I think that you guys are really fun. You ask good questions. I get to talk about the things that I want to talk about, and some people actually listen to them, which is insane. The fact that there are people who are here and listening to me right now, even though I'm just basically talking nonsense at them, like, that's a crazy concept to me. You know, like 46 people have at least clicked on this stream at some point, whether or not they stayed. I mean, okay, but like 46 people clicked on the stream at some point. That's kind of crazy. And so, like, but for some people who really want to grow and who really want to do those things, like, they kind of have to move on because the content that they make isn't reaching as wide of an audience. So I see it a lot of different ways. I think panicking about the Dream SMP dying, even though you may still be obsessed with it or may still have a part in it, which I absolutely understand. Like, it was something that gripped me really hard too. And maybe I moved out of it a little bit faster, or maybe I haven't come back to it. Sorry about that. Maybe I haven't come back to it in a bit. Those things happen, but I think at the same time, like, it's not fair to call a fandom dying. I would say it's fading, maybe, and maybe it's losing a bit of that fervor, but the candle's still lit. And I think it will be for a long time. Now, are there things that people definitely aren't going to go back and rewatch, or things that people aren't really going to be focusing on? Yeah. I know in my case, I probably won't ever watch the Exile arc again, and I'm trying to stay out of stuff where, like, the creators just leave a sour taste in my mouth, and I'm never going to probably watch the end of the DSMP streams from people because I've heard that they're pretty bad. So, yeah, like, those things happen, but I think in the end, you know, the DSMP was always going to do that. And I knew it was coming, and is it bittersweet? Yeah, it's bittersweet. Like, it's a feeling of, I kind of equate it to the feeling of my last concert at college. I was happy that it happened, and I was happy that it was there. And it's sad that it's going, but at the same time, I know that there's other really great things on the horizon. You know, a whole host of people are about to get back into the Percy Jackson fandom, which is a fandom that I love and I still return to every once in a while. And, like, that's about to get a resurgence because of the new TV show. There's this huge resurgence in Greek poetry and Greek epics because of Epic the Musical, which I think is awesome. I love their music, by the way. Like, if you ever get a chance, go look up Epic the Musical. Like, they've got stuff about the fall of Troy. They've got the Polyphemus saga. I'm excited for the next stuff that's going to come out. Like, I think that stuff's really good too. And it's igniting passions again in people who maybe didn't have some, or, like, for me, I've always loved the classics. I'm a huge classics fan. I probably would have been a classics major if I hadn't chosen music. like, and I'm so happy to see that, you know, people are sitting there going, oh yeah, I decided to pick up the Iliad the other day, or I decided to pick up the Odyssey or the Aeneid. And you sit there and go, yes, yes, thank you. Because while they weren't always the best written stories, they're still classic tales for a reason. Like, things get their time. And the DSMP, it's starting to lose that time. But at the same time, there's so many other things to be excited about too. And that's the other part of fandom, is that there's so much still out there, you know? There's so much still out there to find and learn and see. And it's so exciting that, yeah, the DSMP is dying, but I have so much to look forward to too. Anyways, sorry. Going off another tangent. I always do that. Yeah, it makes my classics major heart so happy. Yeah, I remembered you being a classics major. Exactly. Percy Jackson got people interested in the classics, and I think that's fantastic. DLB DW Fema. That's actually really sweet, Kate. Yeah, actually, speaking of my own stories, I don't think I ever told people how I wrote that. I wrote DLB DWFM. So Tommy and Wilbur weren't actually the inspiration for that song. And it ended up shifting into that. There's certain aspects of it, like out of tune guitar strings, Anthems of the Damned. Like, there's all sorts of things that are still inherently DSMP. But originally, when I wrote, you told me don't look back, and you told me don't look down. And don't wait for specifically, actually, the line, don't wait for an apology. There isn't one to come. Stay down and be grateful when the next song finally comes. Those two lines in particular aren't about Tommy and Wilbur. They're about me and another friend. When I wrote that lyric originally, I wrote it about a friend of mine and I. A few people might know about this. I think only one of them is watching right now. We had a pretty big falling out. We don't talk anymore. That person had been an awesome influence on me. Got me back into a couple of things that I hadn't been able to do. And then I still don't quite understand what I did wrong. I'm trying to be a better person since it happened. But yeah, so that was a relationship that had kind of made it really hard for me, not only, and this is part of the reason why I also ended up kind of not following the DSMP as much anymore. It not only made it really tough for me emotionally and with certain friendships, it also made it hard for me to be around the DSMP fandom for a bit. And it also it made it really hard for me to be in certain fandom spaces because people just wouldn't talk to me, which is fine. I ended up moving on and finding some other really great places to hang out and talk and do, and it left a sour taste in my mouth. But when I originally wrote Don't Look Back, Don't Wait for Me, I was thinking of that relationship. And so, yeah. So speaking of telling my own stories, DLB, DWFM, they don't correlate to DSMP as much. How do I deal with rosy retrospection? I feel like we're not going to get to music today. By rosy retrospection, do you mean like looking back on something and being like, oh yeah, that was great, and it wasn't actually, I guess? Like, that's how I'm going to take that question. How do I deal with rosy retrospection? I don't know. I guess I just accept it for what it is. Like looking back on something and being like, yeah, that was awesome. Like, that's a thing that I think we all do. We all have rose tinted glasses, right? But something that I learned was you're gonna have disappointments. Oh, okay, that's new. How did that happen? Stream's not ending. Hi. Sorry, I hit a button and I wasn't anticipating what that button was gonna do. With my hand. Rosy retrospection. Like, I guess for me, it's one of those. How I deal with it is I think back to the state that I was in when I originally watched, read, heard, whatever, that song. And then I think, okay, this was the mindset that I was in. Here's why I thought this was good. Now, what can I recognize in it that makes it not the way that I thought it was? Like, you look back on something and you are a different person. The person that I was literally 30 seconds ago is different from the person that I am now. I've said something that's made me a different person, either to you or even to me, or like some idea that I've considered, or so like a really great example I think would be, I loved, especially growing up, I loved Breaking Benjamin music. Like, this is just like a kind of an interesting example. Or no, not I still love Breaking Benjamin music. That's not a good example. Skillet. All right, that's a good one. So, if you don't know, I'm a rock fan, punk rock fan, actually, which is weird. Not weird. It's just different for somebody that you wouldn't think that I am. But I was super into Skillet in middle school. Don't know why. But back then, like, I thought that it was like the coolest thing ever. And then I fell out of it and I stopped listening to it, and I was like, I remember that song being really good. I'm going to go back and listen to it again. And then I listened to it and I was like, why did I like this? But then you have to sit down and you have to think about, okay, so I liked this back then. Why did I like it? Well, I liked it because I liked the powerful vocals. And I liked the fact that there was this back and forth singing. And I liked the fact that there were multiple different voices going on at one time. And objectively, like, it's not like the music wasn't bad, and that particular song wasn't a bad song, but it was also like really like what we quote unquote call emo, right? Where we sit down and we go, wow, that's so like angsty. And I sat there and I went, wow, this is so angsty. But also, like, I was in middle school when I last listened to it, and I thought like it was incredible back then, and I could remember all the good things about it. And from my middle school brain, yeah, that's like, yeah, like KOE. I loved Skillet in middle school too. Like, you're at that age where like angsty stuff is kind of your bread and butter, like preteen, you know. So that's how I deal with it. Rosy retrospection. I go back and like if I have something in my brain that's like, wow, that was so good, and then I go back and I go, wow, that really wasn't good. Why wasn't it good? I have to put myself back in the shoes of who I was. And sometimes that's really painful. Sometimes that's really hard to do. Like, sometimes we don't like ourselves at those points. I don't. There's things that I loved back when I was a freshman in college that I think back on it and I go, wow, I really don't like myself when I was a freshman in college. Or even as much as like a year ago, there's songs that I'll go back to that I wrote that I'm like, wow, I don't like the person that I was when I wrote that song. It's part of the reason why whenever I'm performing live, I perform live these days. Whenever I'm performing live, I don't play Nowhere Kid. Don't talk about Nowhere Kid. I try really hard not to address it. If people have questions about it, sure, I'll answer them, but I'm not like, yeah, Nowhere Kid anymore. I think back to where I was when I wrote it and I go, wow, I don't like that song anymore. And those things happen. But also then I have to put myself back in the place where I was when I wrote it and sit there and go, okay, but that was what I was feeling at the time. And I felt like I was a Nowhere Kid at the time. And I was going through a lot when I wrote it. That was the kind of the beginning of the breakdown of the friendship that I had back then. And so it was one of those things where it was like, where like looking back on it, I'm like, that's less of a rosy retrospection. That's more just retrospection. But yeah. You listened to Nowhere Kid when it first came out. Yeah. So did I. I don't go back to it anymore. I can't play it though. Like, hang on. Let's see here. If I really wanted to. with all the promises we make. Our good intentions gone to waste. And it builds until we break. Light the match, set it off, hold the world in your hands. Fake a smile in denial, watch it burn to ashes. Light the fuse, set it off, watch your friendship blow, and wonder if you have anywhere else that you can go. 'Cause I'm a nowhere. Anyways, yeah, sorry. That was my project last night when I was jamming with my friend. I was trying to figure out how to play an orchid. Because I was just like, that's probably the easiest song that I have, because it's the only one that's not in a weird key. It's an A minor, which is a lot easier to work with than like ballad. Ballad's hard to work with because it doesn't run in keys. But yeah, so anyways, back to the music. And yeah, check of a kid that had nowhere to go. Yeah, it's that self-confidence kind of deal. It's the reason why I wrote it the way that I wrote it. Which says a lot. But anyways, so I'm gonna get to the music. I may come back and check if there are any questions later. So if you do have any questions, please put them in chat. I'll come back and I'll scroll through and I'll check through them. I just want to get a little bit of work done. So let me play for you some of the crazy stuff that I've come up with for this song. Warning, it gets loud. Let's see here. Is this working? This isn't working. Hang on. It's not showing up. I'm gonna fix that. There we go. You built your walls of stone and plaster, too high to be scaled. You gave no thought to ever after. You thought that's part of the reason why I'm re-recording. My voice is a little bit deeper now because I haven't been singing much. So watch as foundations crumble. Watch as they shift on sand. Listen for the sound of trouble. No, this is by your hand. When the walls come down and the shadows loom, will you stand and fight? Will they be your tomb? When the walls come down and the gray wolves howl, watch the ashes fall while the trumpets call and you give up the crown. When the walls come down, when the walls come down, you built yourself the great defender. Yeah, House on Sand reference, yes. So the saying goes, you can build a house on a rock or you can build a house on sand. The house on sand is going to get washed away because it's not stable. The house on the rock will. It's a Christian reference, actually. It's part of the reason why Peter is named Peter. Peter means rock, so he's the rock of the church. And it's like a whole thing. I don't know why there's so much religious imagery in this song. Oh, KOE, I'm planning on playing some Prometheus in chat today, or in stream today, if you want. When the walls come down and the shadows loom, will you stand and fight? I'm still fleshing out the instrument lot of fun. I don't get to do cover, or try not to do covers very often, but I'm doing basically what amounts to a techno tribute album, and all of the stream revenue that I get off of it, all of the purchases that I get on Amazon and YouTube and everything else, like all of that is going to go towards cancer research. That's my plan.
Tumble, tumble to the ground, stone and plaster coming down. Tumble, tumble to the ground.
Oh, watch out. Loud. Coming up.
Crown. Tumble, tumble to the ground, stone and plaster coming down. Tumble, tumble to the ground, rubble rains on heaven's crown. Tumble, tumble to the ground, stone and plaster coming down. Tumble, tumble to the ground, rubble rains on heaven's crown. Tumble, tumble to the ground, stone and plaster coming down. Tumble, tumble to the ground, rubble rains on heaven's crown. Tumble, tumble stretches of the old dusty crashing. Tumble, spinning circles as the starlight rains on crashing. Tumble, from the cradle to the sonic plaster crashing. Tumble, just get down to rubble rains on ashes come down. When the walls come down and the shadows loom, will you stand and fight? Will they be your tomb? When the walls come down and the gray wolves howl, watch the ashes fall while the trumpets call and you give up the crown. When the walls come down, when the walls come down.
So layering voices. How do I call
When
it?
the walls come down.
We call it polyphony. It does have a musical term. We call it polyphony. The ending on one word that's not really anything. There's no technical term for it. We just call it polyphony. I knew you would be, Dragon. But yeah. So there's actually a couple of things that I'm actually going to have to take out. So the part, I forgot that was still in here. So there's a part that goes, long white stretches of the ordinary, spinning circles as this life rolls on. That's not mine. It comes from a musical. It's called, what's it called? Long white stretches of the ordinary, spinning circles as this life rolls on, from the cradle to the cemetery, just get through until tomorrow's dawn. Then a burst, a sudden ba-da-bum, just accursed. Please make it end, please make it stop. Instants, moments, one flickering flame of light. Ooh, a flickering fly-by-night. Fly-by-night. It's a musical called Fly-by-night. There we go. What do I see when I hear this song? I don't know. That's hard. Long white stretch. So, what do I see? I kind of think of like those time lapses, I guess. Like, especially like that part where all of a sudden the especially when that comes in, I think of like either forest or tundra or something. And then I think of like the camera panning up towards the stars and like clouds racing over, like it's in like a speeded time lapse kind of thing where like clouds are just like coming through, just like on and then it just goes in. That's kind of the way I see it, or like this like panoramic view of stars like coming across. I think of stars in that section actually. And there's actually a reason for that. That's another borrowed thing actually. Borrowed-ish. It's not fully borrowed from the show, but there's this character that's associated with stars in the musical. And so what I did was I took that motif and I transposed it. So that that's the way that I've incorporated it and the way that I've transposed it, that's mine. But the original like intervals themselves remind me of that character, and so when I think of that character, I'm reminded of stars. So it's part of the reason why probably I think of it that way. But like I think of the long journey where you see the day and night cycle. I agree with that. Like this is like I just love this part. And then the ring around the rosy that comes in, and you've got the when the walls come crashing down, which sounds like it isn't an important part, but it's actually the most important part in the entire thing. Because like the main vocals here aren't actually the important bit. Stone and plaster coming down. I have to think of what that means. Hang on. I don't know what that is. No, I don't. So, hyperphantasia? No, I don't have that. That's why that one part is the most important part in the entire thing, because it ends on when the walls come down, and it just ends there. That's probably the most important part in the entire bit. I mean, technically, I actually could keep the long wide stretches of the ordinary bit in, because it is differently melodically worded, so I could. No, yeah. So I actually don't have hyperphantasia. I don't have any kind of imagery, actually. So I'm one of those people, like, you ask me to imagine an apple, and I can think of the color red, and that's it. Like, I can't think of, like, what an apple should actually look like. So I have the other end of hyperphantasia. Like, I'm not this end, I'm that end, basically. Like, I'm on the bad end of the spectrum. Okay, so anyways, so today is kind of re-records. It's not aphantasia. It's like it's kind of aphantasia. I'm close to aphantasia, but I'm not in aphantasia. I'm like on the I'm on the yeah. I make funny things with my if this is the first time watching a stream, congratulations, you see my hands doing this. That's normal. Yeah, I'm on the cusp of it. That's a good word for it. Thank you, Phil. No. That I'm on the cusp of it. So I'm gonna do some re-records. That was the wrong section. Undo recording. Whoops. Let's rename you. So, fun fact, I am horrifically disorganized when I am doing this. built your walls of stone and plaster, too high to be scaled. You gave no thought to ever after. You thought they'd never fail. So watch as foundations crumble. Watch as they shift on sand. Listen for the sound of trouble. Uh-oh. Hang on. Well, that's not good. Why did it do that? So, if you don't know what just happened, you might not have seen that happening. My Logic just crashed. The cusp, yeah, it's all the spectrum. I'm on the cusp of it was never meant to be. Ay. That's my own lyric being used against me. How dare you? No, I'm joking. How does anyone know when they picked up certain word cusps or not? I don't know. Know when they picked up certain words cusp or not. I'm confused by what that question means. Images of someone standing on a tour. It's a long, cold, and horror. Oh, the best part about being a music teacher, we don't grade things. I mean, we do grade things. We grade things, but we grade them a little bit differently. Our grades are all performance based. We don't grade based off of, unless you're doing like music theory, in which case music theory grading is pretty easy. And I actually really enjoy music theory grading and music history grading for the most part. But yes, I find that very funny, and I appreciate that. You built your walls of stone and plaster, too high to be scaled. You gave no thought to ever after. You thought they'd never fail. So watch as foundations crumble. Watch as they shift on sand. Listen for the sound of trouble. And know this is by your hand. When the walls come down. Dang it. Where does it start? Starts here. Okay, I know why I did that. Hang on. On sand. Listen. Okay. Hang on. Burp. Let's start it here. Let's go here. Listen for the sound of trouble. And know this is by your hand. When the walls come down and the shadows loom, will you stand and fight? Will they be your tomb? When the walls come down and the gray wolves howl, watch the ashes fall while the trumpet just follow this been on the whole time. That's not good. You built your walls of stone and plaster, too high to be scaled. You gave no thought to. Let's see here. Okay. While I'm listening to this stuff, I feel bad for language teachers. They have to grade essays that are like 1,000 or 2,000 words long. I don't know. I like grading. I like grading that kind of stuff. I'm an English nerd. Have any of your students ever recognized your channel and music or ever talked about the DSMP? Watch as they shift on set. Think about that. Listen for the sound of. So yes, I have had a couple of students find my channel before. They weren't students that I ever student taught, but they did find my channel. Now talking about the DSMP, so this is actually really interesting. Was my last couple of days at my high school placement, and this kid comes in and he's wearing purpled merch. And I look at him and I was like, I recognize that sweatshirt. And I had to think about it. And I was like, is that purpled merch? And he looks at me and he goes, you know about the Dream SMP? I was like, yeah, I know about the Dream SMP. I'm not like, an idiot. And he goes, no, you know about the Dream SMP? I was like, yeah, I know about the Dream SMP. He goes, wow, okay, that's really interesting. I was like, yeah. And he goes, one of the members went to high school here. And I went, what? Seriously? One of the members went to high school here? And he goes, yeah, one of the members went to high school here. He's purpled. I went, wait, seriously? He goes, yeah, Purpled graduated from here like a couple of years ago. That was a thing. That might dox where my high school placement was, but it's fine. Yeah, so funny story. I taught at the same high school Purpled went to. It was really cute. My kids actually even went out and dug up an old yearbook from the library and brought it to me just to show me the truth, that it was true. Not that I didn't believe them. Like I know where he goes to college, and like I knew beforehand like where he went to college, and I was like, oh well, okay, interesting that he picked somewhere in Virginia, and that makes sense if he came out of that school. That school is kind of like a feeder high school into that particular college, so it doesn't entirely surprise me. But yeah, no. So a couple of my kids actually went to high school with Purpled. Fun fact. So they were kind of bragging about it and telling me about it, and then but I never did mention Furno to them. I was like, I don't want to. Yeah, I can't say that I can relate. I mean, actually, shrapnel. I can't say anymore that like I can't relate, because I do have thousands of followers on. Yeah, that's a thing. Y'all, it still hasn't quite hit me that I've hit 4,000 subscribers on YouTube. Just saying, like, that still hasn't hit. Nah, I wouldn't call it famous. I'm still a drop in the ocean. I probably will be for a while. Actually, I probably will be for forever. But I'm still just a drop in the ocean compared to like so many other content creators. So it's gonna hit me. Well, I will say something that did hit me the other day. So I haven't been watching my stream/view counts as much on YouTube. Like I can, but I really don't. And so the other day, like somebody was like, oh hey, like what's Ballad at? And I was like, I don't know what Ballad's at. So I opened up my YouTube Studio app, and I hadn't like actually looked at Ballad on YouTube like in a hot minute, because I don't really so like this probably sounds bad, but I don't listen to my music. I mean, I do. But I don't like go back and like listen to it all the time or something like that. Like I write a song, I put it out there. Come what may with it, whether like people like it or people don't. Like there's certain songs of mine that people don't like, and that's totally fine. But I opened up my app and I was scrolling through, and I was like, oh, okay, so Arla Manberg has about 70K, Nowhere Kid has about like 40, or I think it's in the 50s now. It might be a little bit lower than that. Like I'm going through, and then I hit ballad. I dropped my phone. Because like the last time that I looked at ballad, we had like just hit like 150 or so K. And I was like, okay, whatever. It's going to be like 100K maybe, or a little over, or a little under 200K maybe. And then I looked at ballad and I dropped my phone because it's over 500,000 views. Like 500,000 views on a song on YouTube. Like, sorry, like all sorts of different facial expressions just happened because like unquantifiable how cool that is. And like I'm super happy and I'm super excited, and like it's one of those things where I sat there and I went, whoa, 500,000 views on one song. That's halfway to 1 million. Halfway to 1 million people, or like at least have at least like viewed my song. Like the heck. You know? When I started out, that's not what I imagined. Like one of my songs has a crap ton of views. You know? And so, and now the hard part of it is sitting there looking at that and trying really hard not to think worse of like my other music, or even just more along the lines of like feeling this immense pressure to repeat it. I think that's my biggest worry, is that seeing that number keep climbing, and it's still climbing at a pretty steady rate. It's getting about 7,000-ish views per day, which is insane. Like, hang on, let me check the stats. I don't remember. It's been a while. It's been a couple of days. Hang on, sorry, I'm looking at something. For those of you who don't know, this is my YouTube Studio app. I look at it every once in a while, but not very often. Okay, why is that not loading? That's so weird. Yeah, 580K at the moment. Let's see here. So, views since published, 580K. Watch hours, 42. Subscribers, 2,200, which I knew. I try really hard not to talk about revenue on stream. I have to think about these things. So, okay, no. It's getting, on average, or it's getting about 1,500 views per day. Or no, a little bit more than that. A little under 2,000 views per day. That's how much ballad is getting. Now, combine ballad with everything else. Hang on. Combine ballad with everything else, and my channel's getting about 5,500 views per day, which is pretty good. And then content-wise, like about 50K views in the past month. Not bad. Or, well, I say not bad. That's incredible and amazing. And, like, when I'm saying, like, not bad, like, that's just my brain sitting there going, wow, like, this isn't a bad thing kind of deal. So, yeah. I do need to put out new content soon because I feel really badly about not putting out new content. Which is why I'm trying to finish Walls Come Down and, like, other things. Yeah. So, actually, fun fact, Arla Manberg is... I keep saying that I don't know if I want to shelve it, if I want to keep it. But then my friend, my piano friend, he sat down and he started playing along to it. And I was like, wow, this is actually really, really good. We should record this. So that's probably going to be the first collaboration song that we ever do, is going to be that song. Because he's just like incredible, like, it was like just messing. It's insane. So... yeah, it's really hard not to compare your other work with one video that outdid everything else. Like, that's really, really hard. But then I think about, like, people like, you know, Derivacat, who has, like, 10 million views on, over 10 million views at this point on Revived. Which, fair. Revived is an awesome song. But then you, like, look at other things that Derivacat has done since, and it's like, okay, yeah, so... We all have those things. Like, hang on. Yeah. So, like, she's still getting, like, incredible views on all of her stuff. Like, easily incredible views on all of her stuff. But, like, nothing's ever going to hit the popularity of Revived, you know? When do you think the next DSMP song will be? I'm hoping soon. Yeah, I'm hoping soon-ish. Hang on. I'm gonna do something really fast. Intermission. Let me pull something up. Icarus. Close. Save. Okay. So I'm pulling up a new song. Give me a second. Whee! Hi. There we go. Thank you. Okay, what do we got here? Forgot he and I were going through this. So I have to rebuild all of the instrumentals for this song, because I lost all of the. Fun fact: I lost all of the instrumentals for this song. So I actually have to rebuild. I've been rebuilding them from scratch. Hang on, I gotta fix something in my main. Hang on, there we go. So this is Icarus. This is probably going to be one of the next ones to come out. So I've actually I gotta do re-records on this one too, because this was originally recorded on a really crappy microphone. Really, there is one of your songs that always helps me with getting out of art block and has a special place on my favorite playlist, and it's not ballad. That's awesome. Hey, you know what? Having one that's not ballad, like that's really cool. Ballad is a great song, but if it's not like your favorite of mine, totally understand. It's actually not my favorite song that I've done. My favorite song that I've done might be Don't Look Back, Don't Wait for Me. Might be. I also still really like Soft. Walls Come Down. That's one of my favorites that I've done. Don't Look Back, Don't Wait for Me, though, is probably still one of my favorites just because of that ending. The light the match, set it off, hold the world in your hands. And then you've got like this is like that entire section is just a really good section. So hang on. Okay, I don't know why isn't this minimizing? Aha, there we go. It's like okay. Weightless falling, hand stretched to the sky, clouds slowly drifting by, silhouettes framed by the light, a soldier in a young boy's guise, a ghost bringing your demise so far, far. Watch the wax melt from your wings, far, 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 far. Let's see, that's the issue. Far. There we go. Okay. Let's redo that. bringing your demise so far, far. Watch the wax melt from your wings. Far, far. The universe is ready to hear you sing. Icarus fall through the sky. Never has the sun seemed so bright. Feathers drift around you, so don't you dare look down, 'cause the game has played you more than you could know. Oh, Icarus, be mindful where you go. Aching, longing, thoughts slowed to a crawl, wondering where it all went wrong. Trees fly by, hard to breathe, wings stretched to the wind, but the feathers were far too thin. So far, far. Watch the air rip through your wings. Far, far. Gravity will pull you down by your strings. Icarus fall through the sky. Never has the sun seemed so bright. Feathers drift around you, so don't you dare look down, 'cause the game has played you more than you could know. Oh, Icarus, be mindful where you go. Oh, Icarus, the light was just too small. Icarus, oh Icarus, you fall. Icarus, fall through the skies. Never has the sun burned so bright. Feathers drift around you, so don't you dare look down, 'cause the game has played you more than you could know. Oh, Icarus, be mindful where you go. Really, I have had this thing in the back of my throat the entire time I was singing it. That was fun. Oh. Oh. Okay, there we go. Which one is the one that I have to re-record? There is one section that I effed up. Oh, Icarus, by heart to mindful where you go. Aching. There we go. Let's redo here. Actually, no. Hang on. Let's have some fun. Weightless falling, hands stretched to the sky, clouds slowly drifting by. a ghost bringing your demise so far, far. Watch the wax melt from your wings. Fall, fall. The universe is ready to hear you sing. Icarus fall through the sky. Never has the sun seemed so bright. Feathers drift around you, so don't you dare look down, 'cause the game has played you more than you could know. Oh, Icarus, be mindful where you go. Ooh, that'd be fun. Mindful where you go. Hoo-hoo-hoo. Hang on. Let's see here. Now let's try this. Weightless falling, hands stretched to the sky, clouds slowly drifting by, silhouettes framed by the light, a soldier in a young boy's guise, a ghost bringing your demise so far, far. Watch the wax melt from your wings. Fall, fall. The universe is ready to hear you sing. Icarus fall through the sky. Never has the sun seemed so bright. Feathers drift around you, so don't you dare look down, 'cause the game has played you more than you could know. Oh, Icarus, be mindful where you go. Very fun, very fun, very fun. Bye, Kaylee. Let's listen. Is somebody burning? Did somebody burn somebody? Something? All right, hang on. I will be right back. I need to check something. What is going on? It almost tastes like tahini. Or not tastes like tahini. It almost smells like tahini. That might have been, like, that's what's confusing me. Sorry. I was like, is something burning again? And I don't know about it. Sorry.
Nope.
Sorry. Just making sure.
Nope, you're good.
Okay. So it was not burning toast. Hang on. There you go. So it was not burning toast. So weirdly enough, it smelled like tahini in here. Which, if you don't know what tahini is like this. It's almost it's a chickpea derivative, but it smells to me anyway. Whenever I smell it, it smells to me like either burnt peanuts or like something else. Like it's this peanut buttery smell. And the taste of it is kind of like, it kind of tastes like a little bit like peanut oil to me. And so I'm sitting there going, why does it smell like tahini? Like, did somebody burn something? So I went out and I checked. My roommate made ravioli, which I'm not sure why to me it smells like tahini, but okay. So actually it is 6:14. Okay. So I hate to do this, guys. But hang on. Boop. So I actually have to go. I need to get myself food, and then I have to set up for Wee Woo Watch Party, and then I have to set up for jam session with Kay. But I will be streaming, for those of you who are in the UK. I know that you guys can't make it, but for those of you who can, yeah, I'm going to be jamming with my friend. Just for a little bit of fun and rest and relaxation. Sorry. For the record, I saw Hunchback of Notre Dame, the musical, twice this weekend because my high school students that I had been teaching put on that show. So that's a whole thing that I did. So yes, I have all of the music from Hunchback of Notre Dame stuck in my head. This is fun. Sad story. Ugh. But they were so good. They did such a good job with it. I'm so proud of them. Anyways, so I'm going to get going. But it was really nice being able to stream again. I can't wait to stream a little bit more this week. I'll keep working on music. I'll come back with more finished products. And some epic Kalish music. Oh my gosh, guys. Or K music. I was trying not to use his name. Epic K music. So, nice seeing y'all. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it big time. All right. For now out.